She was in the car, but he was telling my son to tell me, die, mommy, die. And that broke my heart.
Prej një kohë të gjatë në rrjetet sociale villojnë akuzat që ndërlidhen me modelin shqiptar Afërdita Dreshajt dhe familjen e saj. Personazhi ish-kunata. Stefani, që po kalon një proces divorci me vëllain Afërditës, prej kohësh vazhdimisht në rrjetet sociale ka bërë publike historinë e trazuar. Ajo ka një vit larg fizikisht fëmijëve të saj dhe pretendon për padrejtësi që gjithmonë sipas saj e kanë zanafillën tek një gjë, parat për avokat nga familja Dreshajt, konkretisht motrat. Dy shtrirjet e saj në spital për arsye të shëndetit mendor, një betejë në mes ku ndihet e pafuqishme
për shkak të mungesës së parave,
akuza për hakmarrje. Ky është versioni i saj ngjarjes për historinë e dashurisë me vëllain e modelës që nisi më 2014. Gjërat shkonin mirë, por sipas Stefani u përkeçuan me lindjen e djalit të saj dhe tendencën për kontroll, e për siç thot, tu përjashtuar nga familja.
The tip of the divorce was their upbringing. I wanted Arbor to be part of my son's life more too, but he was very distant, and he was always doing his own thing, and but always kept like his mom and Afërdita involved in everything we did. Triangle. It was just weird. So I just had it and I left with my children. And I came back to my father's house to Michigan. And at that point, I think we were ready to be done. But for some reason, he came back to Michigan. But I'm now figuring out that the reason was revenge on me for doing that.
Por kthimi në Michigan do shënonte një zhvillim të rëndësishëm, shtiriri në spital të Stefanis.
He came back to Michigan and we spent Easter together. Going forward, speed up the process. He was out every day and out with his cousins and drinking, and just he didn't want to be with me and the children, taking care of them. And I would text his mother, I would text Afërdita. Well, she was in Arab, but I text Johanna about it, and I said, can you please have Arbor come help me? And they saw it as I couldn't handle it. I'm tired. Well, I was very tired too, and I had a 6-month-old and 2-year-old, so help was crucial. But then they saw it as like, oh, she's having postpartum depression, especially from me leaving Fort Lauderdale. And she's having mental problems, she's breaking out. Like, it was an attack to everything about me. And so it was in his mind to say, oh, you're not well, you're not well, you're not well. You need to go to the hospital. You need to go to the hospital, you need to go to the hospital. For days went on and things were going crazy, and when somebody is at home telling you that you're not well, you really kind of start doubting your own reality, and you start worrying like, is it me or is it him? And I always thought, hey, if there's something wrong with me, I'd rather find out. Like, I'm not scared of psychiatrists or psychologists. There's nothing. If there's something, I'd rather find out and fix it. But I didn't understand what the consequences of that were for the future. And he did. And that's what hurts me the most now, that I figured that that's what he was trying to do. So, he drove me to the hospital with my children, and it was planned. his sister Afërdita came from here that day. It was almost like they were waiting for it. April 28th. I thought we were gonna go back to Fort Lauderdale. He asked me to book tickets, and then he said, no, we're not going back to Fort Lauderdale. We're going to the hospital. That's when it was clear to me that he came back to Michigan not to fix our marriage, but to plot his revenge. And so he took me to the hospital. I mean, he told the nurses everything. His mother came into acting like she knew what was going on, and we haven't even spoke for months. But his mother came with Afërdita in a different car, ready to pick up my children. It was almost like they knew it. They knew what was going to happen. That was the first time I went to the hospital. The first time my children were alone with them, and then took care of them for about 2 weeks. When I came back out, it was really weird. The dynamic in the family, it was very strange. I wasn't sure if Arbor wanted to fix it or to get a divorce, but I was more into the divorce, especially for doing that. Yes. He told the doctors that I was talking to myself, that I was having delusions, because I told them that his mother is in his ear all the time, which she is. Not literally in his ear, but she is always telling him what to do. That's what I meant by that. The doctors were asking me questions like, oh, why do you, because he told the doctors that I'm in a good mood for the day, and then all of a sudden I just snap at him. When it's like, when he knows that he likes to be a bully, he's a big bully. And I'm just defending myself and my children. Like stuff like that. Like you wouldn't, it was stuff that you can't prove, but he knows like how he is as a person. He knows his personality. So the doctors were just, the doctors, what they do is they just look at your behavior. They don't go by, oh, because Arbor says all this stuff and it could be true, it cannot be true. They don't know. But they just want to check and make sure that your behaviors are good, and then you're there. So that's why, I mean, no matter what, they make you stay. And they check on you and then make sure that everything is good.
Shtrirja ishte për rreth 2 javë.
Because there was nothing there for them to do. It was clear that I wasn't delusional, that I just was very tired. What I did at the hospital was sleep. That I was very tired, and that I just needed some space. And I did learn a lot of coping and how to deal with stress and sadness and all that. I learned that.
Lirimi solli një tjetër situatë, gjithmonë sipas pretendimeve të Stefani.
He told the hospital that when I was released, that we were all going back to Florida as a family. When I was released, we stayed. We went back to my father's house. We stayed in Michigan. And he left alone to Florida. We didn't go with him. But then at that point I was kind of lonely, and I was, after the whole thing that happened, I was trying to see if things can work, and his mother was being nice to me, and she said, oh, the family should be together. I'll take you back to Florida. And we booked tickets and we all went together to Florida. So me, his mom, and my children. If I would have known this, I never would have done that trip, because that trip changed my life completely. Because of that trip, my children are in Florida and I'm here. So we went there and things were okay for a couple months. But then as usual, his mother, she was helping us financially, but she was just controlling, showing up, same thing all over again, making plans for everything. We were having problems. I told her about it because he actually, I found some messages on WhatsApp from a girl he was sending messages to, but she was from a different town, and I don't know, I sent that to his mother, and she just, to blow it off, she didn't really tell her anything. She didn't care. But she then told me, you should divorce him, putting those ideas in my head. And then when I did say, okay, finally printed out the paperwork, she called him and told him, oh, don't worry, we're gonna help you pay a lawyer and get custody. So don't worry about it. We're gonna get custody of the children. Me and Afërdita are gonna give you all the money you need for your lawyer. Even though she told me to divorce him. And that's when I had it with that family.
Ajo deklaron se nuk e harron janarin 2024.
I won't forget, January 22nd, 2024. Arbor came back and he said, I'm gonna do everything, get the best lawyer, and I'm getting full custody of the children. Threatening me. And I was like, what? And I mean, at that point, I was crying. And I called his mom and I asked them, like, how could they say that? And no one cared. No one cared about me anymore. It was like I disappeared. And we weren't even divorced yet. It was just like I was done. And so after that, he made my life a living hell. He was telling me every day to leave, get out, leave, go back to Michigan. He was mean, like it was really bad over there. I was trying to figure out what to do. I was trying to get all the money together to move out.
Paralelisht me insistimin për t'u larguar nga shtëpia, sipas Stefani, u shtua insistimi nga partneri i saj për një shtrirje të dytë në spital.
He kept telling me again. He told my sisters. He called my mom. He called my dad. He said she's not well. She's not well. She needs to go to the hospital. She needs to go to the hospital. Telling everybody. And everybody was calling me and saying to me, what's going on? Go to the hospital. Go, like, again, second time around. Again, same situation. My sisters came because my son's birthday was coming up March 11th. It was March 9th. And I just couldn't take it anymore. At that point, I just listened to him like always. And I said, okay, you want me to go to the hospital so bad? I'll go to the hospital. And this time I went to the hospital myself. And I told the hospital what was going on. And since I was already admitted once, it was no doubt that they'll say, okay, you can come in again. And the same thing happened again. But while I was there, this time he was with his lawyer on March 10th, filing an injunction saying that I threatened to stab him, I threatened to punch him, I saying all these things about me that are ridiculous. I break things, I throw phones, like he has one video that I pour water on his mother's couch, and it was like, yeah, that was like a bad thing. We were fighting, but he would exaggerate, like.
Si komenton akuzat e tashme ish partnerit në raport?
Absolutely not, and he knows it. If anything, he's a violent one. I'm the one that called the cops to begin with. Yeah, I'm not perfect either. But this time around, he was getting physical. From March 10th to March 18th. Florida's a little bit different. They are more, they do more work. But the same thing happened. It was just to check if you're okay, check if you're well, and what's going on, and then they let you go. Because they let you go because you're not harm to anybody or yourself or anybody and all that. So what happened was when I got out, that's when he filed the same day I got out, he went and filed an injunction, and he wrote all the false allegations. And usually, I mean, you have to have proof. If you're saying somebody's stabbing you or punching you, you can't just simply say, oh, someone's trying to kill me. But since I had 2 visits to the mental hospital, they believed everything he said right away, because my credibility now was complete.
Në pretendimet e Stefani, e bindën të shkoj tek miku pa pasur nevoja, po presioni bëri të veten që të kishte të lashe me shëndetin.
I would say both at this point, because clearly the fact that I was at the edge, it signified that something was affecting my mental health, the environment. So clearly, I would never take that away, that it took me there. But they also, they also, the first time, for sure, I mean, it was all them telling the nurses all this stuff. It was trying so hard to diagnose me, you know, in the beginning. Like, they went into the hospital and talked to the nurses. They were like, she does this, she does that, she this and that, just to do it. She was in the car with my children. But I mean, she always said bad things about me anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised if they told them to, like, you know, what to say. Especially, I would say that the biggest part she had was saying about my mothering and saying that I'm not taking care of the children. And like, there's a big part in the intake from the admission in the hospital that said she hasn't been taking care of her children and in denial, which was completely wrong. Arbor was telling he was turning 3. He only said few words, but he was telling my son to tell me, die, mommy, die. He doesn't understand what that means. Obviously, he's 3 years old. I understand that. But he was repeating what his father told him to say. And that broke my heart. Because I just couldn't believe Arbor was that cool to do that to me. And now, I mean, he's been doing it for a year, so now I don't. And now I'm like, wow, well, what can I do?
Ajo si që shpreh në rrjetet sociale ka tashmë një vit pa takuar fëmijët.
I have supervised visits, but there have to be in Florida. So I don't get to see them. I'm in Michigan. I would have to fly over there and stay there in a hotel and spend good $2,000. I only talk to them through an app, that court order, at Arbor's convenience, whenever he wants. And what's been the worst about it is that this whole year, what they've been doing to my children is to put my son against me, to hate me, to hang up on me, like things like that. That it's really sad. And to make my daughter to think that I left her.
Tek pika do bë djali, ajo shpërthen e lot.
Who doesn't want their mother? Everybody wants their mother. And it's not fair to take away someone's mother because of your own. Because you just feel like it and you have the money. That's not right. And that my children were used to me being there every single day. And I'm the one that understands them the most. My son and my daughter, especially my son. And then they have to just never see their primary caretaker, their mother, from one day to the other. No explanation. And their explanations are not true too. And it's making them it's making them grow up too fast. In the 4 years old, they shouldn't be worried about like what's daddy saying about mommy, and I don't want to talk to mommy, and all this hate and all. They should be outside playing and learning and enjoying their you know, I don't even know how to explain it. Enjoying being that age, watching cartoons, and my son, he's been through a lot. He's in the past year, he's been to the hospital every month. He's sick all the time. He has respiratory problems. He's wheezing. He's delayed. He has problems speaking. His teachers, they took an exam to see if he was gonna be qualified to be in this Child with Disabilities Act, and I was not able to be there because of this. I was not able to be there for my son because of it. And I mean, I got the report, and a lot of the stuff it says is that it was the lack of communication and I mean, just all this stuff. It's just not fair for him, because he shouldn't be going through this. He should be learning and playing at school with his friends. There was a comment that said that he was walking slow and running slow and had very limited interaction with children. That broke my heart. He's 4. This is really affecting him a lot. He might not, he can't express it. He can't say anything, but he wants to see his mother. And he's acting out, and he's always angry, and he's throwing things everywhere, but here and there, and catch him repeating things to me, like, I love you too, but then all this negativity and all this hate brings him back.
Çka do I thoshte familjes së njohur në këto momente?
What I would say to them is that whatever happened in the past is in the past. I don't want any problems with them anymore. I wish they would understand the harm they're causing my children. They're innocent victims. The fights and stuff should only been with the adults. The children should always stay out of it. Like, money shouldn't buy children. And what this is doing to them is like you're taking away their mother, and it's gonna affect them for the rest of their lives. And no matter what, we're always going to be family because we have children and stuff. Nobody's going away. I'm not going away. They're not going away. The court's not gonna stay forever. So I would say to make peace and take away the court situation. Like the no contact order with my children, which is 100% something Arbor could take away with his lawyer. Work something out with me, work something out with custody until we do get the trial and the court decides. That part I agree. Let the court decide who has custody. But in the meantime, the no contact order is destroying my children's life. And I would say that they would feel empathy for all it.
Stefani betejën po e zhvillon pa avokat për shkak se siç thotë është e papunë. Ky ishte verzioni i saj për historinë. Prive është e hapur për versionin tjetër mbi ngjarjen e bërë publike në rrjetet sociale mes shumë akuzave.